It feels like a park on a quiet afternoon, underneath the branches of a sleeping silver moon. It's like an old-time chessboard sitting in the sun, waiting for a game to be begun. A simple hello from a stranger's face, two people connecting in a public space. There's no prize to win, no score to keep, just a place to share the secrets that run deep. So come on down, find a little peace where the noise can't stop and the worrying cease. You can lay your burdens down, let your heart unclench. There's a seat here waiting at the open bench. It's a safe spot to rest, no need to pretend you're not alone. You can find a friend. Welcome to the open bench. It's hard to be vulnerable, it's hard to be seen, to show the world the places you've been. But healing doesn't happen when you're all alone. It needs a little kindness, a softer tone. So take a deep breath, let the walls come down. There's a hand to hold in this part of town. You are heard, you are seen, you are understood. Yeah, come on down, find a little peace where the noise can stop and the worrying cease. You can lay your burdens down, let your heart unclench. There's a seat here waiting at the open bench. It's a safe spot to rest, no need to pretend you're not alone. You can find a friend. You're not alone. Just breathe it out and breathe it in. Let the conversation begin. Welcome in to the open bench with your host Dave.
Welcome everyone to Open Bench Live. Tonight we're talking about something that hits home for a lot of people: breaking the cycle.
Because learning for us to let go of stuff from our past, stuff that's held us down, and actually moving on, it's a lot easier said than done, like a lot of the stuff is, but that's what growth is all about. It's how we better ourselves, right?
Yeah, and tonight, guys, we're on Kick, YouTube, and Twitch, and thank you for everyone being here tonight. And if you're seeing this after the fact, thank you as well too. Tonight's about some real conversations, real change. We've been a little loose recently, but we're gonna tighten it back up and talk about some real stuff tonight. So make sure you guys join the Discord down below. We did get the new link out, so now it's just discord.gg/openbench. Super easy, super simple. Come hang out if you guys want to be a part of these types of discussions that we have here on the show.
You guys know, for to come up as a guest and to be able to speak, you have to be in the Discord, in the live room that we're in, that Aaron and I are in the whole time. So to get brought up as a guest, to actually speak your piece, that's where you got to come up from. So hope everybody's having a good night, had a great weekend. Got a big topic tonight, guys.
Yeah. First of all, I want to know how was everyone's Halloween? This is our first night back since Halloween, so I do want to know. Um, did you guys enjoy the Halloween stream? The Franken Fairy? That was a good time. I had a lot of fun with that.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. 100%.
What's going on, Trip? How's it going?
What is going on, Mr. Trip? Where?
Oh, I've been so
So how's
crappy.
everybody's Halloween? Everybody get lots of candy. Kids have a good time. Everybody have fun.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore, man. It's like for the past few years now, I've had to. I just go like the day or after, or a couple days after, and just buy all the clearance candy and just get like big bags of the clearance candy for the kids because they go out now and it's like they don't get nothing. I remember like when I was a kid having like just pillowcases, like full
Yeah,
of candy.
pillowcases. Yep.
Yeah, and having to go and like
Yep.
dump them out and then go back out
Mm-hmm.
again and just fill
Yep.
them up again and just
Yeah.
have piles of candy as a kid. And it's like I don't know
Touche.
if it's I'm gonna screenshot that. But yeah, I don't know if it's like that memory where we remember things as being big grandiose as children, or if it's like if that's just how it really was, but that's just not the same. It's not. You go around
Nah,
houses.
I think also, yeah, I think also my buddy and I were talking about this, that I think times have changed. And like, in my generation at like 8, 9, 10, we were out with our friends trick-or-treating.
Mhm.
Now I think times are so different that parents don't trust their kids being out without parental supervision.
Mhm.
Then you have the parents that don't want to go out and do stuff, or they have to work, two parents working. They don't have time to go out trick-or-treating.
Yeah, 100%.
Different times.
Yeah,
Working
things have
nights and everything.
definitely changed.
Yeah, even Christmas. To be honest, so where I was raised was very I was raised in a Jewish neighborhood, but towards my older years, a lot of Italians had started moving in, so a lot of Christmas lights and Christmas stuff going up. The town started lining the main roads, like the light poles and all the Christmas stuff, and then it just stopped. Maybe like about 10 years ago, everything
Yeah,
just stopped. Different times, different times.
it is. But that's actually a really good segue into tonight's topic. Just how different things are now, and we were raised a lot differently back then, and uh, that causes a lot of different. We go through a lot of different things differently because of the way that we were raised back then, as opposed to today. Um,
Yeah, generation to generation. And we used to talk about this a lot on the other channel. That it's the generations are just so different, right? You take Gen X and you compare it to Gen Z. You really can't compare them, as far as the upbringing, the mentality, the mental fortitude, the work ethic, right? I'm not talking about all, infinite. I'm talking the majority, the stereotypes of the generations. Just different times, different people just raised different back then than they are now. There was no fear back then of anything, right?
mhm.
Now everybody's afraid of everything, right?
Yeah.
From who's lurking in the wood, lurking in the car down the street, who's not afraid of cameras and they're gonna do stupid shit to you, who's gonna take you out of your, it's scary times.
Yeah,
It's
no, it
scary
is.
times. And I kind of wonder if the boomers knew what today's times were gonna be like, would they still have allowed Gen X to go about the way we did? Or would
No,
they be more mindful?
probably not. I mean, and that's like what a lot of it comes from today now, right? Is that we are making those changes and trying to break those habits of um toughen up and like everything in the world is just okay. Like you'll if you're tough enough, you'll get through it. And just suck it up. Crystal
Yeah.
over in YouTube says, "Hey, I finally figured it out, Dave."
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Crystal, happy you're here.
Welcome in.
So happy you're here.
So, but yeah, it's just, that, like you said, that the generations they make big differences and they make big jumps. And a lot of it is trying to, like I said, break the cycles. Um, we were taught that just be tough, tough it up, suck it up, throw some dirt on
Yeah.
it. Trip
And like
says,
we discussed, okay.
no, serious question. While it's true that people are different now in how they are raising kids, but is the world actually different? Are people right to have changed? Are these times actually so dangerous, or is it superstition from ideas we get online?
So, hey Travis, I'm going to tell you, Trip. I think I'm torn on that, and I've touched up on this a few times in the past. That social media has allowed us to look into worldwide issues that we never would have known about in the 90s, right? It's almost like when they say that crime is all at these levels and it's so dangerous to go out and do stuff now. But is it really that things are that much worse, or is it that we just have more access to see them because of social media and stuff like that? I think times are definitely have changed, right? Take social media out of it. Stats, NCIS stats, FBI statistics, crime statistics, those are actually on the rise, right? Suicide rate, addiction rate, those are actually on the rise. FBI index crimes, which are the top 7 crimes, the violent crimes, arson, grape, stuff like that, those are actually on the rise. So, without social media, these things are still going on, worse than they ever were. Does social media give us a look into stuff that we wouldn't have known about otherwise in the past? Absolutely, it does. Right? We wouldn't know stuff is going on in India or Pakistan or Argentina, right, without social media if the local news didn't cover it. So I think it's a mixed bag, but I do know that times have absolutely definitely changed. There's more violent crimes now than ever, right? Because there's less punishments for violent crimes now, right? So
Yeah. Well, and yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like serial killers have always been around. You know what I mean? Like they just proved who was it Jack the Ripper? Like they just figured out who
mhm.
that was finally. And then like you find these cases too. What was it in Nevada? They found that trail of bodies. It's like hundreds of bodies, like
Oh shit.
across like the
And
spread
here,
across the desert and everything, and they don't know, like when it's from. Like they're trying to figure that out. But yeah, I think a lot of that stuff has kind of always been around. I think social media now and the availability of everything online, it just puts it more in your face a little
yep,
bit.
yep. And
Um,
the
and
other
it,
part of that is AI,
yeah,
right? We have AI that we see videos to scare that are meant to scare people, but they're not real,
hmm
right? People stopped. I think a big part of this trip also is people stopped looking into things. They stopped looking into what's real and what's not, and they just look at it, they believe it, they copy, paste, and repeat it, right? So people are part of the problem, right? They're just spreading whatever they see, and I'm not talking about any particular topic, no, all topics. People see something they like, they share it, they spread it, they repost it, they speak as if it's real,
hmm
right? And a lot of that causes fear and hate mongering and stuff like that. Our knowledge of things is almost instant.
Well, yeah, and there's the flip side
Yeah.
to it too of the access to things that we watch and stuff now too. I think that's changed society a lot too. You look at you like especially well, I don't really know. I can't speak on other countries, but like in America, we have like almost like an addiction to horror, right? Like we want like the most horrific, most gruesome movies, the most bloody scenes and all this kind of stuff. And it's like there's like diehard people out there for that. We didn't have that stuff so much back in the day. Like in the 90s and stuff, obviously, like we had, horror movies and like those are like the OG horror movies, right? With Jason
Yeah.
and Freddy and all that. But they weren't what they are now, right? Like now it's like mutilation and torture and like this crazy stuff that goes on now. Um, and then it's like I know when I was growing up as a kid, like I had early internet access and saw a lot of stuff on the internet that I should have never ever seen. Um, and there's websites out there that were just way, way too much. And especially I saw it as like a teenager, so I'm not surprised that there's people that watched that stuff and either became desensitized to it to a point where, they were curious about it or whatever it is, like, yeah, I think media and the internet as a whole outside of just social media has, caused a big issue like that in our world.
Yeah. And you said the perfect word there, Aaron. Desensitized. Right? We've talked about this a ton. How desensitized and dehumanized a lot of our society has become. Right? Back in the day, like Aaron said, if you saw a video back in the day of a person being bludgeoned with a cinder block in the street, it would hit you. That probably traumatize you. Right? Now, people just want to have their cameras out to record it as it's happening, and there's no soul, there's no emotion. Everybody's looking for that next content hit, that next viral hit, that they've lost the humanity, the humanization to everything. I think social media has totally crippled our society as a whole. Trip back on TikTok. I used to say all the time that TikTok in particular does nothing but breed insecurity, hate, and bullying. It's just people taking advantage and manipulating weaker-minded people into believing whatever bullshit they're spewing, and it's not doing any good for our society at all. Another big reason why we left there, right?
hmm
It's times are just changing, man, and I feel like we've lost the human in human being.
Yeah, 100%. Which again, just ties back into these cycles, right? That we go through, and like we as people, we have to break these. We have to come together. We have to create these communities like this, right, where we can come in and we can have safe places to be ourselves and escape from those horrors of the world out there, and find a safe place to come in and just talk about it. Hey, Crystal made it over to Twitch. Welcome in.
Awesome, Crystal.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, nobody really hangs out in YouTube. Lisa hangs out there once in a while. Hunter hangs out in Kick once in a while, but almost everybody else comes in here. So welcome. Give us a follow on this page. I'm happy you found this here, my friend.
The cool thing,
So guys, yeah,
though,
so yeah.
oh, I was gonna
What's
say
that?
is that the views stay pretty in line with everything else on YouTube, even though there's not like people that are usually in there during the live. The views
Right.
stay pretty in line with everything else, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Mm.
So guys, so we wanted to talk about tonight was, like Aaron said, breaking the cycle, right? What's something that you might have been stuck in your world that you had to get through, but it was something you knew was bad for you, but you just kept on doing it anyway, right? One good example is people dealing with narcissists, right? And staying in an abusive relationship, staying somewhere where you're just beaten down, you're just held down, you're anchored in place, you're not allowed to move forward, you're controlled, right? And people in these kinds of situations, they know inside that this is not ideal, this is not good, this is not where I belong, but they're so mind bent by the abuse that they think it's almost normal to stay, right? Narcissism, in just my opinion, from my experiences with my own real world and people I've dealt with, are one of the bigger cycles to break. I think it's so hard for people in a narcissistic relationship to move on because they're fighting what they feel, what they know, but they're also fighting their bent mind, right? They're fighting what they've learned is normal, right? Normal to somebody in a narcissistic relationship might be it's okay to be yelled at. It might be okay to be called a piece of shit. It might be told cool to be told I should die, right? Stuff like that people take as normalcy. And it's hard to break that chain because the people in the relationship are trained to think that there's nothing out there for them, right? This is the best you're going to get. You deserve this treatment. So, you belong here. Because if you leave, no one's going to want you. You're a piece of shit. You're garbage. No one's going to want you. Who's going to want you? And you're deserving of that treatment. And it's hard. It's really hard to break that chain, to break that cycle of abuse, right? I think aside narcissism, almost all kinds of abuse are hard to walk away from because they all end up the same way for the victim, right? You're beaten down to feeling worthless. Your self-worth, your self-love is just gone, right? You don't deserve any different. So I think it takes a lot. It takes a lot of strength for someone to recognize a situation, right? Being in a shitty abusive relationship is kind of similar to having an addiction, right? What's the first step in addiction? Recognizing the problem, accepting there's an issue, and then making change to get out of that habit, right? It's the same thing with abusive relationships. So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about tonight. I've been talking to a couple of people the last few days who are in these kinds of relationships, right? And what's sad is I could have the same conversation with all of them at once, and it'll be the same exact conversation. What they're being told and what's happening.
That's probably one of the most common things. I mean, honestly, that has to be one of the most common types of like abuse in relationships that people go through.
Yeah. I mean, like Finis is saying, even when you're gone, it takes a long time to accept yourself. Guys, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, right? Most people know from the get-go that I'm with the narcissist, but they make up excuses why they can't leave, why they shouldn't leave. And when I say excuses, I'm not trying to dummy down someone's position or situation. What I mean is you don't want to leave, right? Because at the end of the day, you're still getting attention, right? And narcissists do pick on insecure people, right? Because those are the easiest victims. People whose mental guard is already down, people who are vulnerable already, and they're taking advantage of that, right? And rather take someone who's hurting and weak and love them proper, they choose to beat them down and keep them down to have a pet, right? And I'm not trying to sound harsh, but at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, because they are treating their partner like a pet, They control what you do, where you go, who you talk to, when you eat, what you spend money on, when you sleep, when you wake, what you do with the kids, and it's all the same. It's all the same. And the reactions are the same, right? At first they're mad, they're angry when you want to leave, right? Then they become the victim. Oh, poor me. Why would you do this to me? Then they become nice because they don't want you to go and they promise you the world, everything's going to change. If you stay, I'll change, I'll be better. And you believe it because it's been so long of the cycle of the same shit that you think it's normal. And these are one of the hardest chains to break, in my opinion, is being in a narcissistic, abusive relationship.
Yeah, no, and like Crystal says too, they make you change everything about yourself just to see that
Hmm.
it wasn't even you.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah. Like I
just
said,
comes down to deflection, right? They're just deflecting their own, issues and insecurities and stuff back out into the world and back out at people, that
yeah.
they care about. So
Narcissists are, and again, it's my opinion. I'm not a doctor, not a psychologist. In my opinion, are the most insecure people walking on the planet.
mhm.
That's why they are the way that they are, right? And the problem is we allow it. And when I say we, I'm including myself in that because I was with a narcissist, right? Um, my ex-fiance that I caught having, getting banged out, right? She was a narcissist. She trained me to think that I had shit wrong with me that I didn't have wrong with me. For an example, uh, when you take Ambien or you take it like those over the counter like NyQuil, if you don't go to sleep right away, you start acting loopy. You start saying stupid shit. You start doing stupid shit. And what she would do is she would start a fight with me after I took it. And we'd be laying in bed and I'd be talking to her and she would go, What? What are you saying? You're not making sense. You're not even speaking English. What are you saying? And it got me thinking that I was fucked up. Come to find out one day it hit me. I'm not going to take it one night. And she did the same thing to me. She was actually trying to convince me that there was something wrong with me. And this carried on to the whole relationship, right? Look, I am bipolar. I have comorbid PTSD. I have IED, right? Borderline dissociative from what they had said back in the day. So there's no questioning that I have issues. But she was trying to make me think that I belonged committed because she wanted to control how I was living this relationship, right? It was okay for her to go out and do what she wanted to do. But if I wanted to text my friend, she had to know everything, right? It was very one-sided. But she tried to get me to believe that I was fucked up, and it worked, right? Because what happened, guys? Trip, you're new to my situation, to my life. You're new to the room. I started drinking when I was 41 and a half, and she was one of the reasons that I started drinking. Is she at fault? No. No one makes us drink. No one makes us drugged, right? We choose to do that. But we do have triggers. And she was a tremendous trigger of mine because she made me feel so low and so worthless and so meaningless and unloved that I really thought there was nothing better than her. Right. And looking back at it now that I'm gone 9 years, I see how abusive it was and how many times I allowed this cycle to continue. That part, Dave. Yeah. And Crystal, and it's sad because when I say that when you talk to someone in a narcissistic relationship, when I say it's the same script every time, you could take 10 people in 10 different narcissistic relationships, have the same conversation at once, and it'll be the same thing. It's amazing how it's like narcissism 101 textbook. It's crazy. But tell a narcissist that they're narcissistic, show them how they're narcissistic, and you're the fucking problem.
No, we're
Mm.
definitely talking about more along the lines of just self-absorbed people. Yeah, we definitely understand it. So Trip's saying, do you mean a clinical narcissist or a self-absorbed person?
Mhm.
Not trying to put down victims of abuse, but NPD is a mental illness, and I don't imagine anyone who has it would have chosen that for themselves. No, and that's the thing.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
with mental illnesses, addiction, stuff like that. We do understand those are chemical imbalances in the brain, right? They're reasons that people lean towards those certain things, and it's not by choice. Like 99% of the time when it comes to those things, it's not by choice. It's because that is what that is doing to that person, and that's what's causing them to think that way and act that way. Is it an excuse? Not necessarily either, though. At a certain point in time, everyone has to get help in order to deal with that, with whatever kind of issues people have, right? Mental illness, I have to deal with it too. Um, Phoenix says not choose it for themselves, but once they are aware, they refuse to be better. But yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, right? Is the accountability side of it. It's just like when dealing with addiction too. Like the first step in addiction is admitting that you have a problem, right? Even though you have that problem, and it may not be your fault that you have that problem, it may be the chemical imbalance that you have that's causing you to have that problem. But at the end of the day, you still have to admit that you have a problem, and
My mom's calling. I got to answer the phone.
yeah, no worries, I
I got
got
to
you.
answer.
So yeah, it's that's the big step, right? And don't, if you refuse to do that, then you're not going to get better, whether it's um, whether it is your fault or not, right? Yeah, there's fault and responsibility in my actions. In many cases in my past were not always my fault due to mental illness, but it was always my responsibility. Yeah, and unfortunately, right, like no matter what is the cause of our actions, we will forever have the consequences of our actions to deal with, right? So as someone that, I have manic depression, right? Um, I can let myself sink down into that forever if I want to and just rot away in bed for the rest of my life. But I have to like own that, and I have to push myself through it and get up and go to work every day and get up and, you know, do the dad thing and do the husband thing. And like, I have to do that. I have to I have to figure out ways how to deal with my issues, with my illnesses that I have, and um, be a functioning member, right? I can't just crawl up in bed and rot away. Like I wouldn't be any use to anybody like that. So I and again, this is all like we were talking about tonight. Breaking the cycles. That's the key. Topic for tonight is we have to figure out these ways, right, that we break that cycle of being like that. Whatever the issue is that we're having, whatever that the thing is that we feel like we can't control, we have to figure out a way how to break it. It's just bad cycles. I give myself a day to bed rot and wallow, then I demand myself to get the hell up. Exactly, yeah. And sometimes, especially if you're the type of person where you have those emotions that weigh just so incredibly heavy, or like myself, I mask on a pretty much like a daily basis. Um, People who mask, you understand, like that is one of the heaviest things in the world. Like I can't even express how weight, like coming up off of my shoulders, like how much that is to just like take my mask off at the end of the day. Um yeah, exactly. And so every once in a while, yeah, after like a week or two of that, it I crash out. Like I I burn out. I don't mean like crash out like this new term where people like go crazy or whatever, but I just mean like I my body just shuts down. Like I can't, after so long of holding that up. The mask comes off, the weight, I just can't bear the weight of it anymore, and that's it. And I'm done for the day. And I don't want anything else to do. And that's you know, it happens. But like you said, at the end of the day, after having a day or so of that, I have to push myself through it. I have to get up. I got to get going. Bills don't wait around in bed rot. Dave Beck. Miss Dave. Nope. Dave Share, everybody. He's talking with his mom. Um, but yeah, no, it's and I know it's like for a lot of people too, like if you haven't gotten to that point yet in whatever it is that you're dealing with, um, I understand like what I'm saying is it's like that, oh yeah, like easier said than done or whatever, but it's not easy to be said and it's not easy to be done too. It's it's I take a lot of the weight of that, of like what I am saying right now. Of just like, yeah, push yourself through it. I get that. because I've been on the other end of that too. And
Yeah,
like when I've been down in the shit and someone's like, yeah, just push yourself through it, just hey, y'all gonna go try to get back into Twitch, be right back. Oh yeah, okay, Lisa.
Put the fan on. Put the fan.
But that's the reality of it, right? Like what other option is there? What else are you going to do? Yeah, exactly. Why are you sad? Nothing is wrong. Yeah. Those are, it's, oh man. People that don't understand real, true depression will not understand the nothing. Like, it's like sometimes like nothing can be wrong. It could be just absolutely nothing. And that's the real side of depression. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. Hey Lisa, yeah, I see you here in Twitch now. Hello. But yeah, it's there's a big difference between like, oh, I'm sad today and sad about what happened today. And then there's that like you just physically can't move. Like you're just not going to for the day. Oh yeah, thank you. Eric says good night, everyone, and hope everyone's having a good night. Yeah, have a good night, man. Thanks for coming in. Hey Lisa, everyone's making it on over. I'm glad. Welcome in, everyone. Yeah, we're talking about breaking cycles tonight, though, and that's like I said, I think for me, that was the biggest part of it. Was just one day it clicked to me that I just had to get my ass up. Nobody was going to do it for me. No one was going to come save me. No one was going to pull me out of my shit but myself. And yeah, I just pulled my own self up out of my shit. David, there he is. All right.
Sorry about that, guys.
They're tired of hearing me talk. They say you're prettier than me. They like your
that's what I missed here. Might not choose it for the sub. I'll say wherever an action in case give myself a day bed rot while
exactly. Where's Dave?
Lisa, what's going on? My dogs are off and all that gets me out of bed. Hey, well, if it's dogs, wherever it is, as long as something gets you out of bed, that's all that matters, right? What's going on, Lisa? Cat's on the way too. Guys, sorry about that. My mom, because I don't know, my mom has Lewy body dementia and it's getting really bad. She chased my sister out of the house down the driveway just now. And that's like our biggest fear is her wandering at night. So I have to watch her on the ring, make sure she doesn't get out of her bed. It sucks. If anybody has a family with dementia, I feel for you. It's a awful, disgusting disease. She better not get the fuck out of bed. What were we talking about while I was gone, guys? Lisa, girl, how was that? Was that better? Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about it's kind of like what it takes to start breaking those cycles, right? And we're talking about being narcissistic or dealing with other types of mental illnesses or addiction, and it's like that first part is just getting your ass up and like getting at it, right? You just like you have to. Me and Phoenix were talking about dealing with depression and having those days of just wanting to rot away in bed, and it's like,
yeah,
if I just let myself, I'll stay that way for weeks. At a certain point, I have to like kick my own ass and like, hey, get the hell up and like let's get at it.
Yeah, and that's one of the good things with having pets, kids, obviously, having that motivational force, that drive to get you to move and do shit, right? Why, when we discuss people who have addiction, right? They're in sobriety, they're in recovery, what's one of the things I always ask? What got you sober and what keeps you sober? Right? It's the same thing with depression, right? There has to be something in your life that gets you motivated, gets you moving and grooving, right? Something that gets you to have to get out of bed, right? You have a pet, you got to feed the pet, right? You got to walk the pet, or you're gonna be living in squalor, shit and piss everywhere, right? The pet needs you, kids need you, right? And if you don't have, a pet or kids, you find something else, a family member, a friend. Everybody has someone. Okay, you have to find that someone, right? And that doesn't mean you need somebody in real life in front of you holding your hand. Everyone has someone that they can turn to for help, right? And we used to say this a lot on the other channel, that it comes down to no excuses, only results, right? We're always, well, I can't do this because, and why, because there's always becauses, right? Or I'm trying, right? There is no trying. Trying is admitting failure is an option, right? It's I will, I am, I'm doing, I'm going, right? And you got to find that push, whatever it might be. It could be faith, right? It doesn't have to be a person or a pet. It could be a faith. Find a hobby, right? There's something you can do to get your ass out of bed, right? I don't have very long arms, so I can't reach you to shake the shit out of you if you need it. So, but you do have people here for you if you ever needed it, right? You're not alone to get through things.
Yeah.
What other cycles are there, right? So we're talking about narcissism, guys. We want to hear from you, right? What are things that you guys have been through that you repeatedly did to yourself until you finally said, fuck this, I'm done. This is anchoring me in place. I can't move forward as long as this is in my life. What's some things you guys have been through? And let's be very real also. We're not always the victim, right? We've been the punisher too, right? Not saying we all have narcissistic behavior, but we've all been assholes to people, right? We've all broken someone's heart at some point, right? So what have you been through, whether as the plaintiff or the defendant, as far as breaking a cycle, right? Have you had to break something that you were doing to somebody, right? Because when you're in a position of the abuser, it's the same thing as being the abusee, in the sense that you're in a cycle, you're in a routine, you're in a groove of doing something not good, right? So let's hear from you guys. Tell us some stuff that you guys have been through. For me, I just got tired of feeling terrible. Addiction gives me anxiety. I'm tired of being scared. It gives me trust issues. And that's good. And that's self-motivation right there, right? And that's the most, in my opinion, as a recovering addict, self-motivation is the strongest form of motivation, right? Having external forces push us is great. But at the end of the day, we have to have that push. We have to have that drive, right? We can't do shit just because someone else is telling us to do it. We have to want to do it. So that's awesome, Trip, man. Good for you, brother. Narcissistic relationships leading me to be toxic. Awesome, right? Awesome way to say that, right? Like I just said, growing up, people who were in abusive households usually are one of two things. They're an abuser or the polar opposite, right? And they're overcaring, overloving, right? Like Phoenix is saying, when you're beaten down and you get these trust issues and these the walls are up and everything like that, that does become a cycle for you now, because now when the next person comes along, you don't trust them. And they might be great, right? They might be the best person in the world, but you're not going to know because you're toxic now. You're so damaged and broken that now you're starting your own cycle of shit, if that makes sense.
Oh, I'm so unbelievably guilty of this. This is gonna tie right back into what that conversation I put a pause on earlier, Dave. So
Yeah.
perfect example. My wife. She's amazing woman, greatest woman I've ever had in my life. When we first met, I was so like scarred from past relationships and stuff like that, and all the bullshit that I had been through with my exes and all that, whatever, that I straight up told her, like, you don't want anything to do with me. You should just go, like, leave me alone. Like, I try to like blow her off completely, 100%. Put her in the friend zone, whatever you want to call it. I was just like, no, this is just not. I don't believe it. I was too. Like I said, I was just too scarred and stuff from dealing with shit in the past that I didn't want. I didn't trust it. Like I didn't think that was like I'd given up on just the idea of finding like someone for me. You know.
Yeah, and that's what happens. These our past relationships, not even just relationships, like our past life choices, right? Can come back to haunt us, right? And make us see life a different way. Like for me, for example, I was a player, right? That horrible. I was an awful person. Just womanizing. Why? Now older and knowing about, being conscious about what happened to me as a kid made me not trust anybody. It made me hypersexual. It made me not trust a soul. And I just wanted to have as much attention as I could have from as many women as I can. at the same time, right? That's what motivated and pushed me and drove me. But as fun as that was, that also ruined a lot of relationships, right? There's a reason I'm divorced, right? There's a reason a lot of shit that's going on in my life has happened, right? Because my life choices made me not a very good person with stuff like that. And it is a hard cycle to break when you're living a world of womanizing and being involved in a lot of illegal activities. It's hard to leave that life and all of a sudden be a one person law abiding citizen, right? Because that cycle went on for almost 30 years, right? When I became a Fed, okay, it was right after 9/11. It was December of 2001 when I was officially sworn in. I was hired in October, right, a month after. I led a very different lifestyle up until 1 week before I left the academy for the academy. Okay, that's was it 2001. I was 27 years old. For 20, let's say it was 17, for 10 years of my life at that point, my adult life, I was a womanizing pig, and I was doing a lot of bad shit. So when all of a sudden now I'm living in Maryland by myself, newly engaged, about 8 months before we got married, I'm all alone in the state all by myself. Now I have power as a Fed, right? It was really hard to say, hey, I'm going to sit home and wait for my woman to come in. No, fuck no, I'm not going to do that. I just led 10 years of life womanizing and pigifying everything. There's no way I'm living this monogamous lifestyle. It's not going to happen. It was hard for me to break that chain, hard for me to break that cycle. How do I go from having, and I'm not trying to sound full of myself because you guys know me, you know it's the furthest thing from the truth. It's hard to go from 3 or 4 different women in a week to one person, right? Supposed to be forever. It's hard. It's really hard. And I'm not trying to sound silly, but it really is a real problem.
No, yeah, growth is definitely can be painful, but it's worth it. It's about the progress, right? Not the perfection of it, right? It's about changing little things at a time about yourself to get better and push yourself to being that better person.
100%. So Phoenix, you're saying that, and you and I have talked about this before, right? So because of Phoenix's past encounters with relationships, she chooses to be on her own and to stay that way. Whole face sometimes. Yeah, no, I hear you, Phoenix. I hear you. That's why you're my favorite side piece. That's an inside joke. That's an inside joke with Phoenix and I'm her side piece. But it's being alone by choice. If that's genuinely what makes somebody happy, so be it, right? Then that's not everybody needs or wants to be around other people. But if it's being chosen because of what happened in your past and it's not really what you want, it's what you're choosing, those are two different things, right? Because you don't know who might better your life that's not getting a chance because you're choosing to be alone. I'm not saying you meaning just Phoenix, I'm saying in general. People that have these walls up and the guards up, and we have the moat around us with the drawbridge that has to come up and down and let people into our world. That's great, right? It's good to protect yourself. But there's also a big downside to that, right? What are you missing out on? Who are you missing out on? How much happiness am I missing out on? Can you be missing out on more pain? Absolutely. But you could also be missing out on a lot of good. And just my opinion, that chance of being hurt to maybe find good is worth it. Cat is a perfect example of that.
I got a question for Phoenix, actually. It's going to be kind of personal, but I want to know, do you feel like, have you already experienced that one, like, top tier love? Or is it just pure, like, fear of what's happened in the past?
That was just charging his phone. He's going to jump on.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Mystic says that he is finalizing the song now. He had to remake it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. We may get a preview of a brand new Open Bench Media Mystic Nitsua release tonight.
Yeah, I believe it's the outro, right? Isn't that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys know the song before we come on. The intro song is by Mystic. and he's working on an outro song for us for the end. You guys that know him, Jared's typing in Discord. What's going on, brother? Oh, did he? Awesome, awesome. Jared said he played it for me. He loved it. Awesome. Very
I feel
cool.
cheated now.
Yeah,
Sure. No, I'm just
Mystic, you
kidding.
cheating whore.
Right?
You see, we're talking about
Okay,
having our
okay,
guard
my
up, and now
bad.
Mystic just scarred me. Mystic, you scarred me here. I thought I was your number one boo boo.
Away 19 years ago, before and after him relationships were shit. See, okay, so that Phoenix, you know what? I'm not gonna hold anything against you for that, right? My wife right now, there will never ever be another woman on this planet for me like her. I promise you that. I will die one way or another with her being my last. Period. Like that's it for me. Um. So yeah, no, I totally understand that. Like, I guess
Nah, he's not here yet, Lisa.
I'm kind of a romantic, like I believe in like soulmates and all that kind of stuff like that.
You know what? I never did, to be very honest. I never did. Even when I got married, I loved Doof. You guys know Doofus. I loved her. She was my number one. She was my rock. We were best friends. But I never had that. Right. And I truly always felt that if I ever found that one, that soulmate,
Hmm.
I wouldn't cheat. It'd be the one person that I'd be loyal to. And there have been two my entire life. One was the cheating ex and Cat. Um, I I do know Cat is it for me. Um, I do feel sometimes she's my soulmate. Um, but I don't think personally that I hold that in as high a regard as other people might. Right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally I agree. Like, yeah, I think that there are people out there. It's like they're really like, cut from my rib kind of thing. It's just like whatever your beliefs are, whatever. Like, I really do feel like we all have another half to us
Mhm.
out there, right? That completes us. Like, as men, we are not complete without a good woman by our side. I will die on that hill forever. That
Mhm.
I am my best version of myself when she is behind me and supporting me.
100%. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. You guys have experienced it. You guys see the Cat effect, right? As soon as she comes in, I come down a notch, right? And I don't even control that. It just happens that way.
Mhm.
Full love, acceptance, no expectations of me changing who I
We got
was.
a
He was
guest
my
with us
soulmate.
tonight, guys. Jared's here. What's up, Jared?
What's up? What's up, guys?
What's going on, brother?
Not
Oh, that's
much.
beautiful, Phoenix. That's beautiful. Headphones and head over feet because that was our song. Wow. Wow, that's wild.
I think that's the thing too, is we've got to find that good woman, and it's hard these days to really find that good woman and be able to trust, because I mean they hold so much power over a man that they have the power to uplift you, but they also have the power to destroy you.
Hmm.
So it's a tough situation, man.
Yeah, you
It's
got to
And
it's
find the
tough
right
times.
one.
Yeah. And to be honest, I don't know that I'd want to be single these days, right? Even if I got at 50, I would hate to be in my 20s and 30s and be single right now. I think it is such a hard time to have a serious monogamous relationship because of all the temptation that's out there, right? You have Ashley Madison, you have Tinder, you have Bumble, you have Hatch, you have Let's Bang for a Night.com, Booty Call. You have all these hookup, intimate only, not love related sites and apps and avenues to go down, which in my opinion is why relationships don't work in the first place, right? In my day, when you had a fight with your loved one, you had to make it better, right? You had to face each other and make it better. Now it's like, well, the one's yelling in your ear, you're trying to find a booty call on another app, right? We have so much temptation, so many different avenues, so many outlets to not handle our relationship the way it deserves to be handled, that things go to shit. And I would not want to be 30 or in my 20s and single right now. It's just, it seems like such harder times, right? I think it's easier to get attention now more than it ever was, but it's also harder to actually hold a relationship than it ever was.
it's like fake attention because they want immediate satisfaction or what they can get from you these days. It's like it's been programmed into them. And on my side, I think it's almost better to be single because you got to work on yourself first, but you've got so much bad that can happen. I don't it's hard, man. I'd rather be single than stuck in something where I feel trapped or being abused. And maybe that's just my mindset because, like Dave, I'm coming out of that horrible toxic relationship.
Hmm.
So it's broken my trust, broken my faith in women, all that stuff. It's left such deep scars that you don't realize all of them that are there.
Yeah,
It
and
creates more
especially
cycles.
yeah, and especially in a situation like Jared. Jared, I hope, and I'll ask you first. Is it okay? Now I'm not going to share the story, but is it okay if I make references about your relationship?
I mean, if you want to share the story too to help people understand too what
Right.
I'm going through, that's
Yeah.
fine with me, brother.
So just so you guys know, for those of you that are new, we never discuss anybody's life in specifics unless we have permission first. So Jared's was with the girl for a long. How long, Jared? 15, 16. How long is it that you and Hannah
Probably like
together?
12 years.
12 years, right?
Yep.
And it's very toxic. It's been toxic, right? And toxic to the point that now there's law enforcement is involved, the FCS is involved. You have life-changing shit going on because of a relationship that, and this is just my opinion, that should have been over a while ago, right? And I say that just by talks. Jared and I are very close, right? We're not just TikTok friends, we're actually close friends. So I know a lot about his life, knows a lot about mine. This is a relationship that should have been over a while ago. Um, it makes it hard to end relationships that have been together so long. You have so many memories. There are children involved, right? And not children with each other, but children. They each have a child, right? And they become almost like a step parent, right? And that when you're coming time to deciding if a relationship should be done or not, this stuff comes into play, right? Like with me and my ex fiance, right? I loved her son like my own. Like that was gonna be my stepson. So deciding to end that relationship, which was easy, I caught it getting banged, so it wasn't hard. But you still think about it's not just her and I anymore. There's a kid involved. My son's involved, right? Jared has his son, she has her son, and they were like parents to the other one. And this is something that makes it hard to break a cycle like this, right? So yes, we're bad together, right? But when we're good, it is so fucking good. We can't imagine being happy anywhere else, and we stay. What we don't realize is the bad, the negative, the toxicity, just how much it's setting us back. And what we don't realize most is how much damage we're creating in our lives for our future, right? Every day you're with someone toxic is a day you're taking away from your future self because you're
Very true.
going to be guarded afterwards, right, Jared?
Very true. I mean,
No.
and a part of me was I stuck around and ignored all the toxicness because I got a good heart and I try to see the good in people. But I think a part of it was insecurities and self esteem to where I would crawl back just trying to accept a bit of love and facing all that toxicity too, just to accept that bit of love. And you
But
can't
Jared,
do
let me ask
that.
you this now. But with saying that, did she build up your love or did she more take away your love? Your self love, I should say. The relationship as a whole, did it do more to make you realize how much you love yourself, or did it create more self hate and lower self worth?
And to add on to that
I mean,
question too, does that go how far back does that go? Like is that
I mean,
like for me, I grew up very like my mom was narcissistic as shit, like we were talking about earlier, narcissism and everything. So like my entire life was like just like a responsibility. Like I wasn't like I never felt love, right? Like until I got older and experienced it like with my wife. Like that's the first time I felt like real love. So yeah, like I understand that feeling of like trying to grab onto that. Right. So that's I just wanted to add on to that question.
yeah, and that's the thing. For her, it she could put on a good show. For face value, you'd think, oh man, she's doing all the right things. But then you could turn around and you could see all these little other things that she was doing, to destroy me and to hurt me and stuff. And I don't, yeah, it was hard, but it takes a mental toll and manipulation and everything like that to where it breaks you down as a man and a human, and you start second guessing yourself. Maybe you have self hatred for being gullible enough to keep falling for this stuff like that.
Well,
And
hold
in a
on.
point, I had to realize like it's not really love. If they're doing this to you, that's not love. And I had to come to that understanding. It was fake love, pretend love, to get what you can out of me, to use me, stuff like that.
But John,
And
listen,
it's
do you think that's what it was, or do you think maybe? And I don't know her past. Besides you, do you think maybe she had a past that beat her down so much that this is how she shows love?
I think, yeah, I think she had a lot of childhood trauma, stuff like that, identity issues with being a mixed girl, stuff like that. All these dynamics that led her to have maybe these narcissistic tendencies that she never addressed. Everything was always my fault. She'd always turn everything around on me. Even when catching her doing something bad, it was turned around on me. It's my fault, this or that. And yeah, and that stuff takes a mental toll on you. The manipulation, stuff like that, you start second guessing your reality
Hmm.
if you're doing something wrong, and it's horrible, man.
It's tough, man. It's and again, knowing the situation, especially with kids involved. When we had first met, you guys were going through. If you remember, with the first time you came up and talked on my life, we were talking about you and her, and you guys were having problems. And the way you had talked about her, there was nothing but love, right? There was nothing but you wanted this to work. Um, I think, like you and I were discussing, that I think now your mind is hopefully seeing straight, right? And you realize that 12 years of a lot of toxic, this cycle has to break, right? It has to be time for you. It has to be time.
I have to let go. That's I love hard, and so I tried to hold on as much as I could to try to make it work. And at a point, you're right. You just have to realize that it's over. All I'm doing is hurting myself. I'm stunting my growth, holding my potential back for something that's no good for me.
You know
And
what's not good for you is also not good for your son, right?
yeah,
Because even though she might not be impacting him straight on directly, impacting your world is going to take a toll on how you are, how you act, how your irritability level, your quick responses, your shutting down. So in a sense, it impacts your son also, right? So
yeah.
that's
Because
something
I
you got to
mean,
think about.
yeah, with the DCFS issue that I was talking to you about,
Yeah,
that's going to impact it or whatnot. And I don't know
yeah.
the outcome of that. And all for false claims and stuff just to hurt you. And yeah. So you got to understand that that's not love. Somebody who loves you wouldn't do that to you.
You're right. Yep. 100%. And that's the biggest thing too that a lot of people don't realize when they're stuck in those relationships is they think that what is going on is love, but it's not. It's like a sick, twisted version of it that is, it's really control and power for the other person. Like the person
And
that's
that
being narcissistic and um like that's what it is. It's like it feeds a thing for them that they're in control, that they have the power to that keep you around regardless of what they do. And
yeah, and in a way they expect you to, if you don't do what they say or come back to them, then they're going to ruin your life and make it hell in a way that you come crawling back for out of pity, not wanting that pain anymore. So you're right, it's totally a control thing,
yeah,
and
no,
it's
it is.
horrible.
And they turn into
It's,
they turn into kids, right? That like throw a fit, like they don't get their way.
yeah, yep. She would I mean, when I caught her stealing the other night, and that's kind of what s- started it all. I was just like, okay, that's it. You got to go, and she wouldn't leave. She grabbed whatever she wanted of mine to take. She ended up taking my work van keys. She took my truck keys. I still haven't got them back. Just, all this horrible stuff, man.
Well, it's almost like, if they can't get to you, they're gonna get to what you need, right? So you
Yep.
need your work van, you need your work keys. So if he's not gonna listen to me and give me attention and work this out, I'm gonna fuck him with work. I'm gonna take his keys, right?
Yep.
It sucks, man. But you know what? I think a lot of times also in bad relationships and toxic relationships, it's hard, like you said, man. You want to love, you want to give her the best you, but where do we draw that line? When do we say this isn't love anymore? Or if this is love, let me say this. I think sometimes our vision of love might not be someone else's vision of love, right? Somebody who's been through the shit might see what they're giving is love, but to you it's not, right? But that's their broken down version of it, right? So I don't think
Right.
to be honest, I don't think she didn't not love you. I just think that her need to control the situation overpowered that, if
Your
that makes sense.
your video froze, Dave.
Oh, did it?
You're right.
Yeah.
You heard me?
You
No,
know,
Jared, you heard what I'm saying?
yeah, I believe, part of her loved me in her own way,
Mhm.
which made me feel so good because, growing up as a child, not receiving love, I always felt like love had to be earned. I had to earn it. And, that caused a toll.
Yep. I'm right there with you on that one, man. That's yeah, exactly like what I was talking about with my mom and everything like that. And it was yeah, it wasn't until I got older that I realized that that wasn't actually the case. But it took
Right.
it took the right person to show that to me.
And it's going to take even more for me now because, I grabbed onto whatever little bit of love I could receive. And it just ends up screwing you. You accept so much bullcrap, just trying to have love and that want to have a family, stuff like that. And I hate being a failure, man. I hate not trying hard enough to make things work.
Yeah, but
when
I got to step in on that, brother. There's a fine line there, right? You can
Right.
only give so much that if it's not being received the way you deserve, you can't give it.
I could see it, if that makes sense. And like
Yeah.
watching the audio stuff, I could see something in the background. Like
Yeah, no worries. If it's still here, tell me. I'll make her sit in the car.
people who are
People
healthy
who are
don't treat people poorly, but someone in pain who is afraid, who has certain mental illnesses, who have a malformed ego, those people get captivated by those things and they treat others poorly
Mhm.
because of them. Agony
Yep.
becomes contagious. 100%. Yeah. It's
Yep.
just like we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier with deflection, right? It's they're dealing with all that shit inside of them, and it makes them feel better to deflect that out onto someone else and to watch somebody else dealing with the shit too. Misery loves company, right? That's yeah. I mean, there's nothing else
and
to
that
it.
that was the thing with
Mhm.
that was the thing with her, like even catching her doing bad, it was always turned around on me. It was always my fault. Well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, you did this, so that's making me do this. Everything was always turned around on me to be my fault.
Mhm. Yeah, well, but again, that can come from someone who has a broken past, right? Whether it's relationship, it's family, it's parent, whatever the case is. Like what Trip is saying, go along those lines. People, I don't doubt for 5 seconds that she loved you. I don't question that for 1 second. From what I know, I don't question that for 1 second. It just seems like there's something wrong there, right? Sometimes two people just aren't good together, right? And there is no reason. There is no, well, our past sucks or you cheated or it's two people just sometimes just aren't good together. My ex-wife and I are a perfect example, right? We're best friends now. We could not be in a relationship. We just did not fit in a relationship. It was very toxic, right? And a lot of it was on me. Total accountability. A lot of it was on me because I was a pig, and I was an attention whore, and if we would have stayed together, there would have been no shot in hell that my son would be as good of a person as he is today, because he would have seen some horrible, horrible and heard horrible, horrible shit. And there's no reason. She's an amazing woman, an amazing mom, an amazing friend. As an intimate couple, we just were not good together. And I think sometimes you add in a checkered past and you get situations like this. You know,
Yep.
you came from your upbringing, she came from her upbringing. There's a toxicity with the two of you together. Aside all that, now you add that to the mix and it's bad, right? But that's the bad. And I hate to say this, brother, you know, I love you so much, but that's the bad you have to remember and think about if you start having thoughts of, I want this to work. I want to give it another chance. You said you don't want to be a failure. A relationship not working out does not make you a failure as long as you gave your 100%.
You're right.
We can't control relationships sometimes. We can't control how a relationship works outside of our part of the script. So, you know, you're definitely not a failure because you've done nothing but give chances and give opportunities. No.
Yeah.
Hey Dave,
So,
do you have a way
yeah,
to get a hold of Phoenix outside of here?
yeah. I'm
Can
texting
you?
her right now.
Yeah, can you call her or something like that? She's not in chat anymore, and I'm a little concerned now.
Hold on. I'm gonna step away.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be easy.
But yeah, like he was saying, like, my son had seen so much stuff with her, and, even asked, why are you bringing her back around? Showing me that he doesn't want her around, doesn't like her, knows what she's done to me.
Yeah, brother, you're
So,
already at that point. Like the kids are being affected now, right? Like that's
yeah,
that immediately you're at a point of you need to stop that.
right.
Right? Like that's it just needs to stop. Like and honestly, so I went through this thing with my ex-wife, right? I have kids with her and you know, I caught her cheating, all of that. I tried to work it out with her for years after the fact because of my kids. I I didn't want to do that to my kids. And then
Right.
after a couple years of the fighting and me and her like not really being in a relationship anymore, just kind of existing together, I saw what it was doing to my kids. And what I thought was saving my kids was actually hurting them a lot worse.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I had to just swallow that and just like, you know what, I need to leave.
Yeah.
And like it made my relationship with my kids rougher and um obviously like I wish that would have never happened, but I do truly believe that they grew up in a better environment without the the fighting and stuff and all that around.
Right. And it sucks that even though you did nothing wrong, you had to pay for her consequence or her actions,
Hmm.
which is horrible.
Yeah, it is. Um, but it's like at the end of the day, like what can you really do about that, right? Like you as a person, you can't do anything about what other people choose to do.
You're right.
That's it. You can't hold yourself accountable for other people's decisions and actions in life that they make. You have to just accept that they decided to do that and just okay, brush it off and move on with life.
True. Did you ever have to go through, like, did you ever self-doubt yourself? Like, what did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong to make her do that? Or,
All the time, man, nonstop, all the time.
yeah.
And like and so and the worst part about it too is that it was with my brother. Like
Oh,
you want to talk about like having like some crazy thoughts about shit, right? Like my no good for nothing brother either. Like spent like his whole life in prison, brother. Like so yeah, you want to talk about self doubt and all that shit, man. Like I'm telling you, man, like there's a reason why I was so heavily involved in Men's Mental Health Month and the suicide prevention and all of that kind of stuff like that. Like, cause I'm a survivor myself of it. Like, yeah, man, that shit's no joke, dude. That shit will destroy your psyche 100%
yeah.
as a man. Like, you get cheated on as a man, like the devastation that takes on your pride is unfathomable. There's nothing else in this world that's like that. That will have you question everything about yourself.
one bad day away
I
from
put
a
her through college. I put myself through college. I bought her a house.
just,
She had a car.
as a
She
person who
like
goes through this
everything. She
every day,
was in my
I can
mind. I was
tell
a
you
good
things
dad, good
just like
husband,
just one
all
bad day
that
away from mental
until
health
that,
and being 911,
and then
as
everything became a question for me.
which I don't want for
Yep.
anybody because it is
And then
traumatizing.
honestly, you know what the best thing was that I did for myself is
But I
I
want
went
her
and
to
spent
get
2 years alone by
I feel
myself
like
up in
we
a
have
fucking cabin in the mountains,
honest conversation
away
about
from
this sooner rather
everyone.
than
I
later.
quit. I quit calling
I'm
everyone.
going to strongly encourage you
Like,
guys
if
to
my phone didn't ring, I didn't talk to people.
RA and then book a chain
I
of
became
command,
that person
which is
for like 2 years.
concerns about
I
mental
cut my
health
circle
and
down to the absolute bare
and
minimum of
there's
people who
one minute I'll
genuinely cared about me, the people who reached out to me.
behavior that
Um,
you have observed for behavior that grows
Tristan, I was a trash husband and a trash father, and I was still ruined when I got cheated on. Yeah, man, it breaks you down as a guy. Like it does, and it's
but
yeah,
because she
it's
gets
that
so
question of like what did they have better than me or whatever. You know what I mean? Like what made that person better than me? And I think it goes for both men and women too, right? Like women go through the same thing too. Like women get cheated
there's
on, they go through that question too of like what makes that person better than me? And it's not. It's
I,
just like I don't think that it's ever that. I genuinely think that people get bored. I think that that's the biggest thing of why people cheat. I think it's out of boredom,
trying to fix
especially
it.
if you've been in
Like
a relationship for a long time.
like fixating on
I
like
don't
small
know
things
um,
because she's
if you
lost
ask
who
a
I
lot
was.
of people, like we weren't designed to be monogamous. I guess. I don't know. I think you just got to be with the right person that makes it fun, that keeps like, and not even just like sexual things, but like just life in general. Like marry your best friend. If that person's
yeah,
not your best friend, you're not with the right person.
yeah.
And I mean, I see this. I see this every day. I like.
And I remember that
I'm
pain
worried
too of
you
getting
guys
cheated on. And
being
when you
there,
love somebody so much, I mean, it's
right?
such a heartbreak, dude,
I love
to
wanting
deal with
everybody
that.
to
And
like
you're right. What do you question yourself? What did I do wrong? What do they have that I don't?
Is that way you can go like
It's hard, man. Relationships are hard.
Yeah.
And I'm at the
so
point now where I'm like, I don't even know if I want to be in one anymore.
if you
I went
But
through that
on the
for a
other
long
hand,
time.
I'm like, I shouldn't shut myself off because I come from a broken home. So one of my biggest wants is just having a family of my own that, is there. We love each other. We're there to support each other. That's all I really want in life. And I think that's all a lot of men really want in life is just to have a family.
I know you're safe.
Yeah, and honestly too, man, I like you're at a point in life now. You got your son. Like you focus on yourself and your son, and that love will find you. Like that
Yeah,
whole
no,
thing
I know.
about like love will find you when you're looking for it the least is 100% true. I'm
Right.
telling you, like I don't think you were in here when we were talking about this earlier. When me and my wife got together, like I was
I also
literally
know
living on a friend's couch. Like I was sleeping on a friend's couch. Like I was at like lowest of low, trying to rebuild like my whole entire life.
Yeah.
I felt useless and
I think
like
this
this much
can
of a man.
honestly be resolved
You know what I
pretty
mean?
quickly.
And like
Right.
especially when you're out there trying to date and everything like that, like you can't
Need to come home
be
this
like that.
weekend.
You know what I mean? Like no woman's
I
gonna
think
talk to a guy that's sleeping on someone's couch. You know,
Right.
especially you're in your 30s or whatever. Like,
near that she's
yeah. So it's like I felt like totally worthless. At that time, and then she literally forced her way into my life. You can ask her this shit too. Like I was like, no, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like you don't want anything to do with me. I promise. Like I'm no good for you right now. And she was basically like, shut the fuck up and like, and we met, and that's been it, man. Like ever since then, and it's just like I said, if I wasn't at least the tiniest bit open minded to it, like that would have just escaped me.
negative.
And
Sure.
that's been my thing. Like I've had possible love come around and I've always denied it, holding out for her and my love for her.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I've shut a lot down, but I think now I'm going to have to do a lot of healing
Yes.
from this because my trust has been broken. completely.
Saturday,
My view of women, which I shouldn't have, has been, altered. Uh,
this is crazy. Like,
Having to, I don't know, look at them with a side eye, thinking that everyone's going to hurt me and not opening up
you need
and
to
not
open
giving
up.
any the opportunity. Because if she hurt me, then how can the next one not hurt me?
And this is a subject too that we need to like
I
more
honestly feel
people
like I
need
need
to
you guys
talk
to
about
come down
internally.
and be
It is
friends together
unfair to the next person that
because
you go and try
right
and love
now
if you have not actively worked on healing yourself.
it's actually
Yeah,
looking
because you
scary.
just drag it into the relationship and it's going to cause issues.
Exactly. And you are giving that person an unfair chance at properly
Yep.
loving you.
That might just be
Yep.
a glitch.
Don't do that.
Putting,
You
putting
don't.
unfair standards.
I totally
Yep.
understand that.
That's why, yeah, I gotta heal, man.
Hmm.
But listen, honey,
You do. It's
whatever,
important, and it's
whatever
like take the time, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy
let
the
me
time
know.
with your son.
Okay?
Right? I wish I
Just
had straight one-on-one time with my son, just all
let
the
me
time.
know in enough
Oh, that
time.
would
Like,
be
please
incredible.
give me like a
I
2 hour
would love that
notice
more
so
than
that I
anything.
can set it up.
And that's the thing. I hate being alone, man. I don't want to be alone, but you got to get through it to get to the other side.
It's a beautiful
Hmm.
thing.
It's just
See,
something
that's
you
a
got to go
beautiful thing.
through.
I hope it doesn't come to that.
So
And I have
Because
the
if that
biggest fear,
happens,
like, am I going to be alone the rest of my life? Am I going to
then
really find the one? All this, other stuff.
you will, man. You're young, dude. You still got plenty of time ahead of you. Plenty of time. And it'll, like I'm telling you, it will happen at the most random time, but not until you're ready for it. Nothing is
You're
put
right.
into your life or in your path until you're ready for it.
You're right.
Hmm. Trip says he was sleeping on his brother's floor whenever he met his wife.
we'll
He
definitely
was looking for a girlfriend, though, but whenever he met
right.
his wife, he couldn't pretend to be successful. She got to see
Let
that
me know
only
so
his
that
clothes were
I can
nice
make
and his Mustang was falling apart on the
it's
inside.
not
Yep.
a matter of like
And
certainly
that's
being
his wife now.
physically safe, but it's a matter of
Nice.
like feeling
And that's what you
emotional.
really need. That's what all of us need. Somebody that can maybe see you at your
You know
lowest
how
and
I
still
like to hear the
choose
old
to be
sound.
with you, still see the good in you.
That ride or
You have
die.
I was just I just said to Aaron before. I said, it's with Kat, right? There aren't many women out there who are going to take a broke 50-year-old broke-in man with 3 kids, right? No one's lining up for someone like me, with what I have to offer on the outside, right? Before you get to know somebody, you just hear their story, right? You see somebody, you're attracted to them. You don't know what their struggles or what their baggage is or what it consists of. You just know what you're looking at, right? Not many women at my age are going to say, hey, dad of one, but he's raising his ex-wife's 2 daughters. He's got nothing in the bank, and that sounds like the perfect guy for me, right? But someone like Kat doesn't care about that shit, right? And that makes me feel more blessed to have found her. That she doesn't care about that shit.
And there are a couple
She
of men
loves
out there
me for
like
who
that.
I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, remember that Michael Lynn girl that I showed you pictures of, Dave, or whatnot?
Yeah.
I felt like, we went on that float trip or whatnot. I felt like, and she felt like we were good together, but I was completely honest with her. I told her about Hannah, I told her about my other things, and she still wanted to talk to me, but I ended up just pushing her away because of Hannah, you know. And
Well,
then a point came where she just didn't want to be involved because she didn't want to get hurt.
well, she also has a kid to worry about. Also, when
Right.
there's kids involved, there's more to worry about than just us, right?
Right.
We have to worry about our kid, who we're bringing around our kid, and how they're going to be about the kid. What kind of parent are they? There's a lot involved once there's kids. Trip says,
Right.
bro, I thought I had to be a superstar to be loved, and my wife told me I only had to be myself with her. My broke self, I just cried. I'm tearing. Yeah, Trip, man, there is nothing. It is so powerful, as men, to feel that you're heard, you're wanted, you're desired, you're loved, you're craved, you're needed, you're thought about, right? It means so much to us, and it can weaken the strongest of men to have that woman come along and say, I know you have nothing, but you are something, right? And they want to make you their everything. And that's a lot, man. The strongest person in the world isn't a break to something like that. So kudos for you, man, for finding someone like that.
And sometimes it's hard to accept, because you're like, I'm not worth it. I'm not worth being loved. You got all this self doubt and insecurities about yourself, And a part
Yep.
of that can end up pushing people away because, oh, I'm just going to hurt you, this or that. And you end up pushing them away.
Yeah, yeah, Jared. I tell Kat all the time. There are times when I'll break down to her. I'll have a bad day, and it's a bad day about myself, and I'll question her. Like, I don't know why you're with me. Like, I don't understand. I have nothing to give you, right? Because this is what my ex made me think about myself, and it's not fair to bring up to her, right? After
Right.
my ex broke me, I acted out towards the girls I was with. After that, I showed them my distrust for them. With Kat, I talk to her, right? I don't show her my distrust. I just tell her my insecurities. I tell her, I am needy. I do need reassurances because I am broken, right? It's not because I like hearing good things about myself. It's because I don't believe good things about myself, right? I tell you guys all this since day one, that I don't take the credit that I've been given because I don't see it in myself. And I mean that wholeheartedly. So to imagine that a woman with 5 responsibilities is going to want to be with someone like me, it's hard for me to accept, like you're saying, Jared. It's hard to not just accept, it's hard to trust that someone can love me the way that she does, right? And I do challenge it sometimes, and it's wrong of me, but I can't help it. I can't help it.
And in a
I think so
way,
little of myself.
you're trying to protect them. You don't want to see them get hurt, but
Mhm.
you're turning yourself into a martyr and shutting yourself off from, the good because of your own insecurities and thinking, oh, I'm just going to hurt you, this or that.
Yep,
And yeah, but I
100%.
think that's our own insecurities and self-esteem, that we've got to work through, and we've got to understand that was abuse, and we were manipulated that way, but that's not the case.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? It's I know what happened to me as a kid is what started my distrust in people, right? And I know that what my ex fiance did to me, obviously catching her having sex with someone, took out the final leg of the house, right? And it's always been hard for me. Look, I would love to hear everything Kat says to me and believe it wholeheartedly. I would love nothing more than that because I'm convinced that the stuff that she says to me about me, seeing the love that she has for me, is like nothing I've ever had before. And I would love to be able to accept it and take it to heart the way that it's meant to be, but I can't. And I think it's a lot to do with that I won't let myself take it to heart. Because in the back of my head, as much as I love her, as safe as I feel with her, there's always that, but she's still a person and she can still do this to me. Right?
Yep, she
No
can
one
still
is,
hurt you.
yeah, that's the thing. No, look, no one, and she'll tell you this. I hate when people say to me, I'll never cheat on you. I'll never lie to you. I hate that. It turns me into a fucking animal because who's going to say, hey, you know what? Let's get close because one day I'm probably going to cheat. Right? No one says that. Right? So it's like everybody, as long as you're breathing oxygen, has the capability of cheating on you, has the capability of hurting you. And because there's that 0.01% chance available, I have to live as if that's going to happen. That's just the way my brain and my heart have been trained. And it sucks because she doesn't
But
deserve that.
yeah, I was gonna say in a way, she doesn't deserve that, Dave.
Nope.
You know what I mean? She's there for you,
Mm-mm.
stuff like that. You've got to find a way, and I've got to find a way to work past that
Yeah.
because we owe that to them.
100%. And look, it doesn't affect how I am towards her. It doesn't affect the relationship at all. It affects how I take in information, right? It takes time, but I finally taught myself to see myself the way in life. Sure, that's what we're talking about. That's what I'm trying to get to that point where I can listen to what she's saying and I see it, right? I don't doubt for a nanosecond that this girl is not in love with me. I don't challenge that for a nanosecond. She's the first and only girl I have ever trusted as much as I can, right? I'm not a fully trusting person. I'm not. But as much as I can possibly trust, I've never trusted another human the way that I trust her. And why is that? Right? Because when you're abused as a kid or you go through something as a child, you look at it that this is somebody who was supposed to be a family member, a family friend, a peer, and they did this to me. So why wouldn't someone else do it? I feel like if you let
Yeah,
yourself take things to heart and recognize your own
I'm
value
in
and
that
truth.
exact boat. From being abused from my father, shooting me with a BB gun and stuff, and
Mhm.
you start thinking like, if this person who's supposed to love and protect you can do this, then some random person can do it without second guessing themselves or nothing.
100%. 100%. Trip, I agree with what you're saying. I do. I feel like if you let yourself take things to heart, recognize your own value, it's true. So what he's saying is basically that if you have your own self-love and your self-worth, a person can leave, you're still going to feel that way, right? It'll hurt, but it's not going to break you to not hear it anymore from them. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, I actively try to accept and sure, it's not even just with my girlfriend, right? Aaron and Jared will tell you, Lisa will tell you, Phoenix will tell you, in this room alone. Like, and again, I'm not touting myself. I've heard a lot of praise, a lot of appreciation, a lot of thanks, and it's meant the world to me. But I know if I was able to take people's word to heart, it'd make me a better person than I already am, right? So it's
You
not
better take
just
my word to heart.
I do, boo boo. It's
better.
it's not even just a relationship thing. It's an everybody thing, right? It's hard for people like me, like Jared, who can process good for themselves, right? It's like, you're doing good, you're a good person, but you just can't accept that good.
And part of that's just our traumas we got to work through.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a long time, but at some point we got to end up facing them, not only for ourselves, but for our relationships around us, because my trauma has caused so many issues in relationships, friendships, stuff like that. Feeling like people are doing stuff behind my back, and I've ruined a lot of relationships
Mhm.
simply because of my trauma that I never worked through.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it's really key that we start trying to replace those bad habits with good ones, right? Like holding on to that kind of stuff, and um, we have to learn to start letting that kind of stuff go, and let that wall chip away a little piece by piece at a time. You know, taking out a big chunk is, may be detrimental. It may take the whole wall down at once, and that's too much going on. But you gotta little by little believe that some of those things are true, right? Like, not everyone, um, don't don't think that everyone out there is just malicious and intent with everything, right? A lot of people are just kind of just in their own worlds, just like how you are through most of the day, right? Like, a lot of that stuff is not even like in people's forefront of, like in the frontal lobe. It's in the back of their mind and the subconscious and stuff. So it just, I don't think that we weigh as heavy in people's minds as we give ourselves credit for, right? Like, we think that people have all these ideas about us and everything like that, when in general, like, if you were to sit back and think about what your perception of the general people around you is on a daily basis, like, you don't have those types of thoughts about people, right? So, like, we should
Right.
reverse that on ourselves and think about that the same way, that there's a good chance that 99% of the people walking around me aren't judging me in any kind of way, or people that are telling me good things. What reason would they have to be malicious about it, and to really have some kind of negative undertone to it?
Have a good night, Trip.
Right.
Get home safe, brother. Aaron, what's going on? This is Aaron X from our other home, I believe. What is going on? I love you.
Welcome in. Have a good night, Trip.
So, guy, let's touch up on the good stuff with this, right? This not all breaking cycles doesn't always have to be about the bad and the negative, right? That there has to be the good. And we're happy you found us finally. And of course, we're just getting ready to wrap up in a little bit. Did you have fun with did your husband come home this weekend? So breaking the cycle doesn't always have to be negative, right? We can look at it as a positive light too, right? The breaking a cycle of abuse or a cycle of bad that we're stuck in, breaking it is good because it shows us our strength, this shows love for yourself, right? As down on ourselves as we might feel, as down on ourselves as we are in a bad relationship, the fact that we broke that cycle and had the strength to step up and walk away, that's positive. That's good, right? That should feed you and fuel you that you can do this. You can get past this. Yeah, I took all this. Yeah, I went through all this, but I also ended it. I also stopped it. I also recognized it, accepted it, processed it, addressed it, and I walked away from it, right? There's so much good in that, so much positive in that. I'm sure, Sean. You guys have bad weather up there? Off the light Thursday night, walked in my kitchen and felt, oh shit, Evan, did you really? Oh man. That stinks. I hope you're feeling better. Give you anything good? Everyone, so we're talking. Is it Sean? I figured if you're busy, there's got to be shit weather. So we're talking about people breaking cycles, bad relationships, anything bad in your life that you repeatedly allow to happen to yourself, and you accept it. How do we break those cycles? How do we get out of them? Right, like being in a narcissistic relationship, waking up and stepping away. Right, that's what we talked about most of the night. Now we're trying to talk about the positive stuff in that, finding that inner strength. We love ourselves more than we realize. We love ourselves more than we give credit for. And I'm guilty of it myself. I'll sit here and tell you guys till I'm blue in the face that I don't have self-love, and that's why I allowed myself to get shit on in the past. I don't love myself enough to take compliments and to take good shit about me. But I did walk away from a bad relationship. I did walk away from being abused. I did make it through being abused as a child. These are strengths that I have to realize mean that I love myself, or I would have stayed, right? If you stay in toxicity, you should question how you feel about yourself. Because why do you think you deserve that? I know we think it. I know our brains are trained that way, but we have to know at some point inside that we don't deserve this, that we are loving of ourselves enough to walk away from this. So, in my opinion, that's a positive in breaking the cycles of these things. It should show you how much self-love you do have, how much self-respect you do have, that you're not taking it anymore. What's tomorrow? Give a
True.
training order on her ex.
And then me, like,
Yeah, Sean.
I divorced her, man. I got away from her and everything. And when I did and had no contact, brother, I was in the gym working out all the time, taking care of my health, taking care of my body and everything. But the moment I let her back in was when, I started closing back in, withdrawing, becoming distant,
Mhm.
substance abuse stuff, all that stuff.
Yeah,
And
and once
you
you
had to
break that,
sit.
you have to keep it broken. That's the thing, right? It's just like with addiction and anything else too. It's like the once you hop down off of that horse, like you got to stay down, and that's for the most people. Like that's the hardest thing about any of these fights, right? Is that people go through. It's that want to go back, and a lot of times when it has to deal with a relationship, it's a lot of it's like loneliness, or you have those questions that doubt, right? Like, oh, what did I do that made her, do X, Y, and Z? Like, maybe I can do something better. Maybe I can do something different this time, and I can go back and it'll be different. I promise you, brother, it never will be. Never ever will be.
Yeah, or feeling like, what was I gonna say? I can't remember now. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I can't remember what I was gonna say.
But that is what happens, though. You know what? We know we don't belong somewhere. We know we deserve better, but we hold on to the good that was once there. But that good becomes less and less often. The bad becomes more and more bad, and that's when we have to say, you know what? I love myself too much for this. I might not love myself a lot, but I don't deserve this. And you walk away, and that is hard. Like Kat saying, that is hard. Because what comes with that? That comes with hearing you're not good enough. You're going to be alone. I'm the best you're going to get. There's no one else out there for you. No one else is going to want you. And you believe this. You
Yes,
really
get
believe.
conditioned into believing
Yeah.
You get conditioned that this is what your life is supposed to be.
That's what I was gonna say. Like you feel and start questioning yourself, saying, nobody's gonna really love me like she loved me, and you start convincing yourself that to where you'll crawl back and accept that bullshit love out of insecurities.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's the same fight as addiction, right? It's like literally the exact same fight. Is you have that voice in the back of your mind that's going, "Hey, come back over here. You remember how good this was
Mm-hmm.
over here? Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, remember the
Yep.
good times
Yep.
we had? Forget about all the bad
Yep.
things that happened. Like
Yeah.
let's go
Yeah.
have those good
Yeah.
times
Forget the
again,
DWEs. Yeah.
right?
Forget the DWEs and the arrest and the lawyer's
Yeah,
fees and everything else. Come drink me.
yeah. Let's go have fun again. And it's the
Yeah.
exact same thing. But every
And it's
single
like you're not.
time you say no to that is that small step in progress of breaking the cycle and not going back to it again and again and again and again. Every
Yep.
time you say
Yep.
no, it'll get a little easier the next time.
Got to take those
And like
thoughts
a
on.
part of it is like
Been there.
you're not even enjoying it, but
We're
you're
getting
trying
in
to
that
escape.
restraining order.
What now?
Oh, Sean, hoping it works out, Sean. I remember you were telling us about him a couple weeks ago. 'Cause I remember saying that I don't know how you didn't put your fist through his face. Aaron, sorry you
Yeah.
went through that, Aaron. But you did, but you realized that you loved yourself and you deserved better and you walked away. That's the whole premise of the
That's
conversation.
so damn hard. That's
Yep.
the hardest part. Good for you.
No, she went through it with her ex-husband,
That's so hard.
right? You know, beating you down into thinking that I'm the best you're gonna get. And that means abuse, right? So being abused is the best you're gonna get. And we believe it, right? We really believe at some point that we deserve
Yeah.
being hit. We deserve being put down. We
get
deserve it.
Beaten to the point where you are willing to take just about anything to have something.
And that's
Yep.
what I did. You know, I'd take anything. I'd take the beatings. I'd let her do whatever she wanted to me just to accept that little bit of love when she decided to show it.
Mhm.
Yep. But you
You
know
deserve better
now,
than that.
yes. Yes.
That's the
But when
reality.
you've been beat your whole life and beat down and stuff, you start like questioning, is this all I deserve, you know? And
Yeah.
uh,
But you know
yeah,
what, at
it's
the end of the day, you know, we got to look at the positive parts of everything. And the positive part of this is, and it might not seem this way, is your going forward is now lighter than it was just yesterday, right? Your going forward has more options and more opportunity for good than you had just 24 hours ago. Because had 24 hours ago stayed for the rest of your life, think how miserable you would have been, right? You're still young,
oh yeah.
right? You're not 90, right? You're still young, good looking guy. You have a job, a good job. You know, you have a lot to offer somebody, right? It might not happen tomorrow. It might not happen in a month or 2 months from now, but you're going to have better days than what you've been having,
It
right?
just
And that's the
takes
positive you
time
have
to
to see.
gain
Right.
that
Do you remember the first thing I ever told you, Jared, when I first met you?
No, what'd you tell me, bud?
That my wife wasn't allowed on your lives?
Oh
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I remember you telling me I got that dog in me.
Yeah, I was like,
Yep.
no, man, no, she's not allowed to watch your lives. I'm full support of the community, but yours. Sorry, bud.
I'm a full support of everybody but you.
Yeah, no, not
That's
you,
okay.
sexy motherfucker. Yeah, no, dude, you have nothing to sweat, man. Like I said, honestly, man, take this time right now. Just
For
enjoy
you.
your time with your kid, dude. Like more than anything, man. That this time right now with your son, you will never get that back.
You're right.
Mhm.
Above all
And I've
else.
wasted so much time, you know, with this toxic relationship that, you know, and a part of it's broken and, you know, I've lost so much time with my son, you know,
And you know what,
stuck in
Jared?
this
And it's not
mental
even about
state.
physical time, right? It's not even about time with him physically. It's about think of how many times your mood was so drained, your head was so tied up with the relationship that while you're with him, you're not fully enjoying yourself. And you might have thought you were pulling it off, and you might have thought you had the mask on. He notices.
Yeah.
These kids
Oh yeah.
notice. They know
Oh
when you're
yeah.
off, you're not right. They might not know why, but they know dad's not right. So, you know,
That's true.
this is the
And
time
you told
now.
me that.
Oh, has he? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it a part of it makes you realize, you know, yeah, I have been distant, you know, and you can fall back on understanding like it was that relationship with her, that manipulation and stuff and self-doubt to where you have that depression and you end up isolating yourself and pushing others away and you know making everybody else pay for what that person's doing to you, and that's not fair to them.
No.
Nope. But you know what? It's not fair to them. But you know who it's the most unfair to? You.
What?
That's what's the
You're
it
right.
is unfair to him, but it's the most unfair to you or whoever's in the relationship. It's unfair to you because you're not asking for it, but you're allowing it. Right? You're not saying, "Hey, shit on me," but you're enabling it by allowing yourself to be shit on. If that
You're
makes
right.
sense.
Mhm.
Right? But now
You're
going
right.
forward, like I said, you have brighter days. In reality, your brighter days are to come. You're gonna be sad, you're gonna be down, you're gonna miss her, you're gonna do shit that reminds you of her, but you got to also realize the strength that it took to even step up to be where you are right now in the first place.
I
Exactly.
just
That's your
have to
homework.
Yeah.
realize the good memories, you know, not negate those good memories, but you know, not forget the bad ones too.
Yeah.
And yeah, just understand that I deserve more. I deserve better
Yeah,
than that.
Yeah.
absolutely. Look, even in the worst relationships, there are good memories, right? Or else we'd have no
We wouldn't be
relationship
there.
at all. That's the part
Right.
that draws us in, is the positive, the good stuff, the memories and stuff. That's what we're holding on to with every last ounce of strength, right? But those memories are not worth the detrimental that's to come to your mental health, to your son's health, to your life. It's not worth it.
You're right. And it's
Like
taken
Sean's
so
saying.
many hard lessons to realize that, you know, so much suffering and stuff just just to come to terms with it. And it's even harder when you still love that person to death. You know, you want to see the good in them, but you at a point you just can't. I mean, there's nothing positive to look forward to anymore.
Nope. 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 But you got this, brother.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
know
I
you
know
got
I
this.
do. I know better days are to come, and I know I'm not
Yeah.
going to be alone forever. But I think my biggest challenge is just working on myself and getting my mental health back up there to where I'm not, second guessing or uh, untrustworthy of anybody, self doubt, self esteem, stuff like that. It's going to take a
100%.
little bit of work.
100%. And you know what? You're supposed to be sad, right? You're supposed to be angry about this. You're supposed to be down. So when you realize those things, don't fight them, right? You're supposed to be upset. This was your partner. You're supposed to be sad that she's gone, right? But a lot of times we fight these bad feelings as if they're wrong or as if we're not supposed to feel them. And you are supposed to. So when you are sad and you do cry and you do get upset, just know that it's normal. You know, you're supposed to feel these things. It's part of healing. Guys, losing a
Yeah.
relationship is a form of grieving, right? Grief isn't just someone dying, right? A relationship ending, especially a long-term relationship, that's a form of grief. It's a form of loss. Grief is loss. Grief doesn't just mean someone dies, right? You're grieving, your brain is grieving the loss of a relationship. So you're supposed to feel the 5 or 6 steps of grief, even when you end the relationship. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna have to accept it one day. You're gonna be depressed, right? It's all part of it. It's all part of it. It's all normal. And you know you got us.
I know I do. I got a good, community around me, support group, stuff like that,
Mhm.
which, man, I'm thankful for all you guys. I'm so thankful I met each and every one of you. I'm so thankful for, the advice you've given me, how you've been there for me, Dave. Seriously.
Mhm.
Without you, man, it'd
100%,
probably
brother.
be hard to make it through this.
Oh, I love you, brother. You know that.
Yeah.
Anything I can do
I
for
know
you.
you do,
Got
man.
you.
And I'm so thankful for you guys, seriously, from the bottom of my heart.
100%.
100%, my friend.
And on that, I think we will go ahead and wrap up for the night.
Mhm.
It's been a great night tonight, guys. I just personally want to thank everyone that has come in tonight. Thank you, Jared, for coming in and talking with us
Yeah,
and
definitely.
sharing your story with us.
Always, man.
Like
This
every
Always.
day.
is, like Dave said, this is what it's all about, right? This
Yeah.
is the open bench. This is what this is about. Um, it takes a lot of courage to want to come in and talk, and it takes a lot of courage to want to change and grow. Um, it's 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 a big deal, right? To break those cycles and get out of that and get to a point in life where um, you can move forward for yourself more than
Hmm.
anything else, right? Like that is probably the most important thing when you come out of any of these kind of traumatic situations is to be able to heal, to be able to move forward and go on with your own life, right? And get better that way. Um, yeah.
Lisa crying every day is awesome. I must go on. Yeah, you have to go on, right? That's look. We're gonna have bad days. We have to get through them. We're gonna have happy days. We have to get through them. A happy day and a
Yeah.
sad day are no different. It's just a day, and we have to get through them either way, right? Guys, I appreciate everybody coming in. Don't forget if you guys aren't following us already on here, shoot us a follow on Kick, YouTube, Open Bench Media, Discord, Open Bench. Jared, I appreciate you coming up, brother. It takes so much to talk about everything you're talking about, right? So if you need me, you know where I am, brother. And
Yeah.
you and I will talk
Definitely,
tomorrow
man.
either way. I know that. And Aaron, thanks for coming in, Aaron. Sean, you're 100% right, brother. It's definitely not worth it. I still think you should smash his face, but I guess it's not worth it. And guys,
Yeah.
everybody have a great night, and we will see you guys Wednesday.
Yeah, and like Dave said too, if you guys aren't following yet, all the links are down there in the bio. You can just click away at those, and all of our Twitch people now too. If you guys do want to support the stream, kind of like what we used to do over in TikTok, you can subscribe to that channel now. Costs a couple bucks a month, but it does help us out. We do have like back end expenses on
Expenses.
this kind of thing, unfortunately. um, but besides that too, there's like little bits and all that too, like what we used to do with the gifts and all that stuff over in TikTok. So you can do that same kind of thing down here. It's just like I think over there in the corner somewhere is where I'm pointing at. But anyways, we love you guys as always. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for coming in and sharing your nights with us and talking about some real shit.
Sorry, real
'Cause
fast. real fast. Before I forget. Don't forget, guys. The nights that we're not on, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you guys can still hang out in the Discord. That's what it's there for. In that live room that you guys are in right now, that's where you guys can go and hang out when we're not here. And if we're not doing back end stuff, we'll jump in and hang out also.
Not that
But-
room. Not that room. You gotta have special
which one?
permission to go into that room and pull a stage. But you can go into any of the voice chats in any of the rooms, and you guys are more than welcome to hang out in there. So yeah.
I think tomorrow I may jump on, the one of the voice chats or whatnot, because I'll be in a hotel room. So anybody wants to talk anything like that, jump on in. Let's chat and discuss.
Yeah.
Awesome, brother.
Sounds
All right,
good.
everybody. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you guys Wednesday.
See you guys. Love you all.
Much love.
The alarm clock rings, another day begins, and you can feel the pressure creeping on your skin. The traffic in your head is moving way too fast. You're just trying to find a peace that lasts. Is the air you're breathing feeling thin? Is that old anxiety settling in? You force a smile, but you feel the weight of all the things you fear and all the things you hate. So come on down, find a little peace where the noise can't stop and the worrying cease. You can lay your burdens down, let your heart unclench. There's a seat here waiting at the open bench. It's a safe spot to rest, no need to pretend you're not alone. You can find a friend. Welcome to the open bench. It feels like a park on a quiet afternoon, underneath the branches of a sleeping silver moon. It's like an old-time chessboard sitting in the sun, waiting for a game to be begun. A simple hello from a stranger's face, two people connecting in a public space. There's no prize to win, no score to keep, just a place to share the secrets that run deep. So come on down, find a little peace where the noise can't stop and the worrying cease. You can lay your burdens